from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pennell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course alongside Seth, Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino, and this is certainly like Groundhog Day, even nicer this morning, because when I stepped out of the house to make sure the lawn stuff was going right at 7 a.m., Seth, I was like, oh, this is glorious, and it is beautiful right now.
It's like Groundhog Day, because Bill Murray was making every day nicer.
For himself. Cutting it out for himself. And you can also see that it's not only the weekend, but we're getting closer to August because the traffic is picking up in the morning. I see far more people on Nelson Avenue in the morning, whether cycling or jogging or just going for a walk in the morning. But
29,000 yesterday. They came out yesterday, and afterwards I was over at Ciro's, and there was a good crowd there. And I think folks enjoyed the track and the Friday night Saratoga nightlife as well. I think she enjoyed yesterday.
I missed that. The wife was we were supposed to have a date at the track yesterday, but she said that wasn't going to be possible, so we ended up having a date at the golf course. But
It was nice too.
yeah, it was nice. It was a nice evening with Denise, so that was good. But I would have preferred over here and betting horses and such. Interesting day yesterday. Just a couple quick thoughts. As Seth remembers to put on his
With the
mic for the first day.
Getting signaled.
It's from the first day. At least they didn't like storm the Bastille on us. Couple things about curling we'll work into. There was 3 mile and eighth races yesterday. All 3 of them were 150 and change. All of them were like 137 and change the mile. And at first I was very impressed with the curling winner. Then I'm thinking, well, the maiden special weight race went about, a tick or two slower. And then Fingal's Ove, who was a monster on the front end, that was an entry-level open allowance, went, about 2 ticks slower. I was like, okay. And quick note, thanks to the good people at Fox, we received an answer to my question yesterday. The 2X did not go for David Donk.
Oh, okay.
And he had no visions of it going, and he's trying to get to the Fleet Indian, which I'm guessing is the day before the Travers.
Yeah,
that's sort of become the New York bred day on Travers Eve. But he did try to get the New York bred 2X, and it didn't go, and he didn't foresee it happening in the right time
substitute.
frame. No, he does. Listen, it was. She was strong on the front end. I mean, I thought she was gettable at about the half-mile pole, but she ended up being stronger than her rivals, and now is 3 for 3 for David Donk, and seems like we'll try New York Bread Company next in stakes action for the first time, but she was good.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it was another interesting day. Irad Ortiz opening up a little bit of a lead with 18 wins over Joel Rosario and Luis Saez, who both had 13. Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher tied with 11.
He said on Wednesdays, Racing Across America, I mean, the thing about Irad, he's really moved into that Angel Cordero zone where he's just bet. I mean, it's there was a time when it was like the Ortiz brothers, and that seems to have separated itself a little ways. I think Joel Rosario is having a fantastic meet when you talk about ROI, he and Saez, and it's obviously has nothing to do with what Irad's doing. The people just realize how talented he is and the horses he sits on, and they're betting him.
Speaking of good meets, everybody's kind of, when you we're on the front side talking about Javier Castellano sitting 4th with 11. He's riding very well.
And I always like to say this about quarterback. Did you actually see them play the position, not their records or anything? You watch these, you're not sitting on the favorite and co-favorite.
Futzing with my ear thing, but it's not the official earpiece. So.
The official, sponsored by such and such, the official earpiece. But, you're riding the fourth or fifth horse in a race and getting it done is kudos. I mean, two of the things I used to notice, and one of them was particular to Javier going back 20 plus years ago, is when there's up and coming jockeys, when somebody wins for multiple barns, that's what originally tipped me off to Javier going back to 2000, was he had like 13 wins one spring summer meet and with like 11 different barns. And I'm like, sometimes you can accumulate wins with a barn, a strong barn that's going well. But when you are spread out, that means A, they know you're good and you're riding without a main staple. And Javier Casanos seems to have turned back the clock, and one of the nicest people in the world, and kudos to him also. And
speaking of jockeys, do want to remind you again, we had John Velasquez on yesterday talking a little bit about it. PDJF, I think it's PDJF Awareness. I know it's PDJF Awareness Day. I think it's PDJF maybe weekend as well. But regardless, one way or the other, there's an autograph session today. If you're headed up to the track, come a little early. 11:30 to 12:30 by the Jock Silks room. And if you're not sure where that is, just ask. Everybody can point you to it. It's pretty centrally located. But all the jockeys will be available for autographs. They'll have they have a poster there, I think, but you can bring memorabilia, make a donation to PDJF, get jockey signatures. That's today, 11:30 to 12:30, right up here by the Jock Silks room. And tomorrow across the street, the annual, well, I say annual, with the pandemic, it hasn't happened for the past couple of years, but the karaoke to benefit PDJF, which should be a lot of fun. It's a little bit East Coast, West Coast. Next week they'll do it at Del Mar. If you can't get up here, you can watch it streaming. Go to the Jockey Guild website. I know they have a link, PDJF's site also, but they'll be streaming so you can watch. And then next week you can watch out at Del Mar, and fans can vote for their favorites when it's all said and done.
Jimmy Bond, 2 winners. Saw him this morning, $31 winner. Then he wins the nice.
I was in the paddock and I ran into Jim and Tina Bond before their first winner at Fontana Freda, who had the 12 post position. And they were like, boy, I think the racing gods are against us because we keep getting outside post, outside post, outside post. Boom! Gets it done at a nice price from the 12 post with that one. And I saw him in the winner's circle afterwards. I said, take that, racing gods.
Yes. So. Now, I have something that I think it's clerical, but I think it's important. Seth, yesterday, late in our program, you got the information out to the people that they were moving the last race from the scheduled melon, because I wrote it down here, move to the inner. I trust my man. I didn't look it up. He was doing it for you folks, and he got the information about the first couple races being on. They moved it. At the end of the day, they didn't move it.
Well, they moved it back.
They moved it back. Now, here's the funny thing that people will look at down the road, which will make no sense. And they have to do better. I'll give you another example where they mess up. So at Equibase, on opening day at Del Mar, they have a turf race where they say the rails are up and then the rest are down. That didn't happen, trust me. This is Equibase. They are in charge of keeping the stats. So now when you go to the final race yesterday, and I understand why it says it. It says move to a mile and 16 on the turf, not the inner. So they're saying it was moved but not moved. And I think people down the road looking at it will be like perplexed. I mean, I can't remember that ever happening. And then I remember John Embrial, as I was waiting for my wife and our date to commence, say it's being run on the melon. And that's when I went back to my notes and said, well, something here happened. And I just think that's, I don't know, that has to, like Equibase should put at the bottom that in the morning Naira originally moved this to the inner and then decided against it. Now that's just clerical, because I've said this Seth off the air and on the air. I think the Mellon Turf Course offers a fairer shake to races, so I'm happy for them to have more races on the Mellon. I've always thought that, races, I think all the stakes races that can be run on the Mellon or the inner should run on the Mellon. I don't like when the Diana is on the inner, which has been, but I thought that was funny. So when I was doing my spreadsheets, I was like, so how should I denote this that we played Hodgepodge Lodge with this? But moved and then moved again back to its original setting. So there you have it. And who was that? That was Jimmy Bond, right? No, not Jimmy Bond. Tom Morley getting the finale.
Yeah, Morley, and they're coming in out the AE list.
Almost 18.
Snuck in from
first
the
AE. I put that down in my notes. I know you only want the MTO's data in the thing, but I like the AE data also. And that was the first AE the 13 got in, and Tom Morley was down the road. Anything else before we get to
So then in the PP's ongoing, you would like it denoted that horse was pulled in from the AE list?
Well, the truth is, no, I don't. As Brian Nadeau pointed out last year, he goes, you probably don't like the advancement in the racing form. And I said to him, I said, correct. Selfishly, I wish there was hardly any. And, you know, those who put it. So
I'm not following you then. What
no,
what
I'm saying is,
MTO, I totally want
right.
in because I think that's important information. AE,
I think it's important because to me, usually you get the bad posts. Usually, you know,
but you can see that.
But they really wanted in here. They could easily have gotten out. So they're like, I want to be in this race. You know, I'm not scratching out. Please give me any opportunity to get in. I want to go because let me just do one quick thing here for you, folks. I just want to.
But that's true of everybody in the body of the field too. You would.
So here it is. So he decided he could have easily scratched out. I'm gonna take the 12 post position in a field of 12 and take my chances versus coming back in this race where I might draw the 4 or 5. I really want in. That's all. I mean, it's not a big thing, but
yeah,
I'm like, it's just a data point. It's like, you know, like, no, I don't want to bring it back, but the competitive edge angle. He wanted to go that day. He got in. Anything else before the DePaul play of the day?
I don't think so. Mentioned the autograph session. I think
yes.
I think we're caught up.
All right. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, ladies and gentlemen. Great card, but now it's time for the DePaul play of the day.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Silverado, just $3.99 a month. Yes, $3.99 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy here with your DePaula Play of the Day from beautiful Saratoga Race Course. We're going to be giving you our Play of the Day on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the meet. And heading into yesterday's action, we had hit the board with 3 of our 4 selections to date. Looking at today's first race, the opener, we're going to side with the number 3, Tatum. This Philadelphia Park, I still call it Philadelphia Park, Invader, finished a dead game and well-clear runner-up first time out. And the figure earned from that day is substantially higher than the figure earned by the only other runner in this race with experience. Additionally, there's been a nice workout since, and you have to admire the connections taking a shot here for a purse that's twice as high as what he was running for a couple of 100 miles away. We like that the jockey comes along for the ride, although I'm sure he drove himself and didn't come with the horse. But still, that's a long trek for one mount, so he must like his chances as well. There's been a nice workout since the last race, and this one is a 1/2 to 2 multiple dirt winners, both of them earning more than $120,000. When we analyzed this race, we figured this one would be about 9 to 5 or maybe 5 to 2, and we were very surprised to see a more than generous 5 to 1 offering. So we're going to dive right in with the DePaula Play of the Day. Today's first race, the number 3.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Equinox, just $259 a month. Yes, $259 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Handicappers Report, where we're going to look at the Saturday race card, multiple stakes action on it. Today's opener, though, 2-year-old Seth, open company, running for 6 figures, $105,000. I mean, it's just amazing. I wonder in the old days, and I'm going back to the 80s, I think like maidens would run for 24, open company 2-year-olds, and the stakes action would be 75. So my point is the multiplier between the stakes action and the maiden special weight number, I'm just off the top of my head, was about a 3-to-1 ratio. Now it's like what, a 2-to-1 ratio maybe at best, because we're not running grade 3s for 300,000, but we are running maidens for 105.
And speaking of stakes action, top of the show, we didn't mention, don't forget Del Mar today, because they have very nice stakes action, obviously, with the San Diego in particular, as that prep for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Should mention,
Go ahead.
We'll take nighttime thoroughbred racing tonight, tomorrow night with Del Mar action. Had to take it last night with the 4 o'clock post out there, 7 o'clock our time, and you said when you got home, take a little look at Del Mar when you got in.
It's my favorite because for the network and such, for this time of year, it carries me to bedtime. It's like a little, it's tremendous. But what's funny is like they have the grade 1, which drew 10, which is stupendous. But most conversations are about the San Diego to see who's going to take on Flightline in the Pacific Classic down the road. So
speaking
let's kick us off.
The number of horses, though, Twitter has been ablaze with field size out there at Del Mar so far has been phenomenal.
Yes.
We'll see if they can keep it up. All right, the opener at Saratoga, though. Great action here this afternoon, obviously. And the opener I have at 4, 2, 3, and 5. Number 4 team leader, Brendan Walsh, first-time starter by Street Boss. Street Boss, kind of one of those sneaky, not necessarily debut winning sires, but win early types for debut runners so far this year. 25 first-time starters, 1 win, but 4 seconds and a couple of thirds. So there's a little win early with Street Boss, but the dam produced a sibling called Prolific that won its career debut, another sibling called Commandeer. Took 5 starts to win, but was second in a field of 9 in the debut at 9-1. So I thought there was a little win early, a little sneaky win early on the top, a little bit of win early on the bottom. Nothing else really jumped out at me at the things I like to look in this field. So we'll take a little pop with the 4-1 team leader here for Brendan Walsh and Godolphin. Swiss Guard goes out for Steve Asmussen. We know how well he can do with these early runners. Sometimes they do better in their second start, though. I'm wondering if that might be the case for Swiss Guard, because, as I say, there wasn't anything in here that really jumped out at me. Tatum in the 3rd spot. Experience counts, and this one put in a pretty good debut down at Parks back on July 9th, and I think off of that is worth taking a look at today. For me, in the opener, 4, 2, 3, and 5.
And apparently, not that I got it, but the word was out on Acoustic Avenue for Christophe Clement. Yes. One interesting thing for me for Swiss Guard is 3 consecutive gate workouts. I don't recall seeing that very often for horses. You like to think they figure it out the first time, but 3 for that. I have this race wide open. Trust me, I don't hear anything. My guess, is capture the flag for Shug and Offspring of Quality Road. This would be the familiar green and white blocks of Joe Allen. Luis Saez gets them out. Then I have Bourbon Resolve, who is the 2-to-1 morning line favorite for Ian Wilkes and Offspring of Hard Spun with a bullet from the gate. 2 works back. And for 3rd, I have Seth's top pick, Street Boss. But Tatum, number 3, mentioned earlier on the poll play of the day, just got beat a nose in the debut. So he's got experience in his edge. You mentioned Swiss Guard. And I don't know that space from the rail for Bill Mott and Offspring of Go Zapper, who's double-digit odds on the morning line. I don't know that he's a toss. I mean, so a very exciting opener, and we'll see if it's just an ordinary opener or if there's a buzz on a horse, as there was for Acoustic Avenue yesterday.
Race number 2 on Saturday afternoon. We're looking at maiden specials. Again, $105,000, this time on the inner turf at 8.5 furlongs.
And because I had a wonderful date with my wife last night, I was not able to look up. How often do we have back-to-back juvenile openers in the early daily double?
I don't know.
I don't think it happens very often.
Yeah, you would have a better.
Yeah, I mean, I could run it down. It would take me just, it would just be legwork. I have it, but I was just thinking, it's not often we have the first 2 races are for babies. 6, 8, 4 for me.
Making it a little difficult for the pick 5 players.
Oh, you know what? I didn't think of that.
And that's probably the board.
And that's probably one of the reasons they don't do it.
Oh yeah.
And, the pick 5 is such a juicy
theoretically
bet.
you could look at
the doubles,
probable pays on doubles.
I think you're right. So the real problem would be if they were 1 and 3 in the pick 5, then you're doomed. So maybe that's it. So 6, 8, 4 for me? Okay, you have the 6 in the mix. We went to okay. You like Cairo Prince as a stallion?
Very much,
Okay, well,
yeah.
That's your spot. I'm say magnifique. I don't know. It's French. I went to
Say
England.
magnifique.
That's what he said.
Magnifique.
Yeah. So now you're stuttering.
I'm going to think about that for a minute.
Anybody take French? Anyone?
I think that's wonderful, one way or the other.
I think you're right.
Oh, that's magnificent.
Flavien Prat, Chad Brown, offspring of Kitten's Joy. You know, we're going to get back here. There's no way around it with this firster, the Peter Brandt Familiar Silks. And for second, number 8, going out for Mike Maker. They're adding blinkers. We talked about Mike Maker, who is having an outstanding meet, and all but one, I think, are on the turf, which isn't shocking in and of itself, but that prolific. Luis Saez gets the call back after debuting in a sprint, an offspring of Kingman, who I've mentioned, maybe almost like Dubai, isn't at the top of our mind for European stallions, but raise it up there for third, number 4, American Hustle, for Christophe Clement, offspring of American Pharaoh, owned by Bobby Flay. And I think it's fair to say at this point, Seth, that American Pharaoh has sort of stuck out as a turf stallion right now in his career with better success than dirt. I think that's fair. So a couple crops.
Maker and Luis Saez on your Wednesday show, I think it is notable that you had on the stats for the Wednesday show. Maker at that point had 6 wins. Luis Saez was on 4 of them. So it's maybe worth a little extra check mark when he's on board a Maker horse at the
I think one of those types of things is because I think how relationship, it's like Mike Maker realizes
that,
he's, I think, I don't want to get into it because I don't know these people well enough to, say, I'll just give you one quick example. Years ago, a very famous trainer gave this new in town jock, who's everybody recognized the name. He was just flying. He was doing great, better than he'd ever done on his previous circuit. And I came to learn out that the trainer was a big fan of the agent, and the agent's previous jockey had left the game, and that was it. And so that's it. So that's why I don't want to get too far into it. But you would think Mike Maker would go, I have live horses. That's a live jock. Let me get him.
Absolutely. I have a 3, 7, 6, and 9, determinedly on top. And I'll talk a little bit more about determinedly after the break, because that is going to be my dark horse play of the day at 8-1. There are some things that I think make this Marquez trainee quite interesting. So again, I'll get a little more into determinedly in a few. The number 7 horse, Montepulciano, from Todd Pletcher, by not this time this year, 31st time starters, 8 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. There was a sibling. I have no idea what this refers to. Squatching with lists. I have no idea what's squatching. I don't have. You go out and
is that that's
look
a
for
verb,
Sasquatch.
right?
I don't know.
I'm not looking for him.
That one took 6 starts to win, but was second in the first 2 starts of the career. So I thought it was a little win early, top and bottom. We'll put that one in the mix. And
Do
then,
you like your background music?
Yeah, we have somebody's driving by with the bass going. Magnifique. I did it phonetically while you were talking. Magnifique. Say Magnifique. The Chad Brown runners. Chad Brown's Peter Brandt with the first-time starter. Just automatically pulled in that direction. And then at 20-1, Good Rapport is by Good Magic from Rudy.
Yep.
I may play around a little exact in this race with my odds, but I have it in the second. 3, 7, 6, and 9.
And Good Magic has already gotten off the board at Saratoga. 3-year-old onto the third race, The starter allowance on the dirt, 1 lap, a mile and an 1/8.
8, 6, 2, and 4, endowed on top. Nice improvement in the numbers, start 1 to start 2 to start 3. Now broke the maiden in start 2. Did it for a 40 tag, so that left you a little bit concerned about the follow-up going into starter allowance company. In that the horse had to get a little class relief to break the maiden. Debuted last year in maiden special company, but came back improved. They were ambitious off of that and had confidence enough to go to that starter allowance and ran a good second as the favorite in there. Indicating to me that the horse came back as an improved 4-year-old, and that's often the case. Lately raised 2-year-olds, lately raised 3-year-olds, they take time off, they come back, they can come back improved. I think that's the case here, and this one now with a race at the level under his belt. I'm going to put endowed on top. Second spot, Southern Passage. Tried this company, if you go back 2, 3, 4 starts, tried an allowance non-winners of 1 at Churchill last time. I think all of those races fit with this particular group this afternoon. The horse wasn't finishing position-wise, wasn't running that well, but the numbers are pretty good. Now, I'll kind of rely on that. Luis Saez on board for Dale Romans. I think this horse, as I say, will fit with this group. Cryo in the 3rd spot. 10-1, Orlando Noda off the claim. He's pretty good off the claim, and I thought this one, again, in this bunch, a little bit playable. If maybe they can inch forward a little bit and being good off the claim, I don't think that's totally out of the question. You're getting 10-1. I like the odds as well. In the 3rd, 8, 6, 2, and 4.
I just have the top picks reversed, and I will tell you, all that separated for me, Seth, was the fact that I think there might be a better price on Southern Passage. I thought these were the 2 horses that the race went through, and Southern Passage drew a little bit better and might be better odds. Obviously, Christophe Clement, we talked about it. He won a race, the 4-day race week meet to kick off. He won one every day. Then he had a 0 for the next week, and then he's gotten some winners. He won yesterday. So I think Endowed is going to be on many people's mind. And then you get what I think for what we do here is important. Irad Ortiz is on him. You're going to get all the worst of it price-wise, and I thought Southern Passage was athletically was shoulder to shoulder with them, and I'm going to get a better price, and that's how it works for me. So Luis Saez certainly having an outstanding meet. The distance shouldn't be any problem, so I like Southern Passage over Endowed with Wolf County in 3rd, but 6, 8, 9 in the 3rd. We're going to take our first break on this glorious, glorious Saturday morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops, my bad. Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
Here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Boba. These 2 arch rivals hang ahead with Joe Hunter bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish in the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Time now for the Dark Horse Play of the Day. The Smart Bet is always the Dark Horse, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile, 445 Broadway, downtown Saratoga. And again, their sister store right down the street in Presence of Saratoga. Great places to swing by and spend some time in downtown Saratoga. If you're up for the races, go by a little early or go by after the races. You will not be disappointed, I guarantee it. Dark Horse Play of the Day today. Yesterday, going back, gut feeling. That horse was better. Keep your eyes on gut feeling going forward. That horse was much better than, I want to say finished 4th or maybe 5th, but I think 4th, and was coming like a freight train, was way in back, and they were on a crawl early. I thought, we're too far back. And then the stretch launched and was really rolling. It was just too late. So gut feeling was a little bit disappointing yesterday. But determinedly, I mentioned earlier, my top pick in race number 2, 8-1 on the morning line. Anthony said it. I like Cairo Prince quite a bit as a sire of first out runners. Now, this isn't a first out runner, but I think the debut numbers give you an idea of win early horses. So far this year, Cairo Prince, 47 first-time starters, 7 winners, 7 seconds, 5 thirds. Really good numbers. This horse debuted sprinting on the dirt for Mark Cassie. I would think got a good education out of that. Mark Cassie, I'm going to trust him with the move to dirt. I will say, there were a couple of debut-winning siblings. They both won sprinting on the dirt, so I'm a little bit concerned with the situation. But again, I'm going to put my trust in Mark Cassie. There was a sibling called Witzel that won its career debut, another sibling called Page One that won its career debut. I think there's win early all over this. I've said it a number of times. If these horses have win early breeding and don't get it done in start 1 or start 2 or start 3 and then switch things up, take another look. That's the situation here. Sprinting on the dirt, didn't get it done. Again, I think it was a good enough effort to think came out of that with some education, but now stretches out on the grass for Cassie with that win early breeding. Joe Rosario on board, to me, determinedly really intriguing in here. I said it earlier with the odds. At 8-1, you're at my threshold for a little win place. I'll box mine up in an exacta. I have a 3, 7, 6, and 9. I'm going to play those in an exacta. Win place on determinedly. I'll start some pick 4s. I like this horse this afternoon. Dark horse play of the day. Race number 2, horse number 3, determinedly, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile.
And what's his morning line, Seth? Is he 8?
8.
And one thing I like to say is that as the odds are higher, you're allowed to ask more questions. I mean, it's you shouldn't feel like if there's more questions, that's fine. It's not if they're 2-1, but if they're going to be a hefty $18 or something, there should be some questions for you. My point is, you should have comfort in that fact that it doesn't stick out. Well, if he stuck out, it wouldn't be 8-1 most times. Once in a while, you do find that rare diamond that's 8-1. You're like, I think this horse is a stick out in the race, and you walk away going, oh, that doesn't happen regularly enough. But that's one of the things that I like is just, they're 15-1. Of course, I have questions. It's not that easy. So. Very interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's an interesting race from multiple angles, and that's why I've always come to the idea. Like you see a, 8, 9, 10, 11 horse field, and you're looking at it for a while, and nothing jumps out at you. You can't settle for the favorite. The favorite should have already jumped out. If he doesn't, you got to move on. That's how I handle it.
All right, 4th race today. Maiden 40 claimers going a quick 5.5 on the grass.
5-8-7 for me, and I love these races. I mean. Obviously in my lifetime, one of the newest wrinkles brought to the game, and it's what I do like is there seems to be 2 ways to win the majority of these. Tell me if you agree, Seth. And one is obviously you get that forward position, you win, or the last run guy. It seems to me, anecdotally, that the mid-pack first run over that can be very successful on dirt or on turf at longer distance doesn't seem to be the most successful one. To me, it's first or last. Very cut and dry. I would never give up position. 5-8-7. Brad Cox got out to a great start at this meet. He's having a wonderful meet. Hasn't run very many horses after the first couple of days. And now he has a runner with good early speed, Manny Franco aboard. They shorten up from the 7 that they can run at Belmont to the only sprint they can run distance at Saratoga, which is 5.5. I think that will help. 4-2, number 8, Devilly, going out for Mike Maker. Has run for a tag previously, most recently maiden special weights down at Belmont, now back in for a tag for Luis Saez. Betting-wise, I think this is the horse to beat. The race goes through. And for 3rd, number 7, I'll let you touch on it more. First time in for a tag, Mark Cassie's our Super Love going out for, you could guess it, Live Oak Plantation. But how about this, Seth? I don't know that I've ever seen this. The first 3 career starts, not only was there exactly 10 horses in the field, this horse always drew the 10th post position. What are the odds, 1,000-1?
Probably, at least.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. I know it's your on pick top, so.
7, 8, 5, and 4 for me. Yes, 7 are Super Love. You can guess the owner if you see the spelling.
Yes,
which
I should point out. Yes.
Soup like Campbell's soup. So Live Oak Plantation, Mark Cassie. They paid a lot of money for this horse. at Ocala last year, and then debuted up here last year at Saratoga. Didn't quite live up to that price in the first few starts. Saratoga and Churchill came back to start this season on the synthetic at Turfway, also in maiden special. Now a little bit of a layoff. Mentioned it earlier. Sometimes these horses come back improved. Not only that, I think the drop in class is going to be beneficial. And again, there are some win-early siblings. A sibling called a terrific Shot won in the second start of the career. That was on dirt, but horse did have a grass sibling, grass winner over in Ireland called Pronouncement. That was a 6 furlong turf winner over in Ireland. So again, I think there's a little bit of breeding you could hang your hat on. They get some class relief. They switch things up with the try on the turf. 12-1 on the morning line in a race where, again, I just didn't see anything really jumping out. So our Super Love on top, definitely in the second spot, goes out for Mike Maker, Luis Saez on board. Again, as the stats on Wednesday show demonstrated, this team could be a little bit worth following over the next few days, and we'll see if they can continue to add to their numbers. But this one's certainly a solid fit with this bunch, but has had a number of starts and hasn't gotten it done yet, but certainly has been in the hunt far more often than not. And then the number 5 going out for Brad Cox. Having shown the speed last time, I wouldn't be shocked to see that speed be a little more potent this afternoon with that one under the belt in the 4th, 7, 8, 5, and 4.
And to add on to it, Seth, because I wanted to look it up, none of the 4 were favorites. 3 of the 4 were double-digit horses. Even better. On to the
absolutely.
5th. State Breds, 2-year-olds it up. Optionals in for 45. Non-winners are 2, other than Racing 6.
Top of the page, I have written this is a competitive race, but I went 4, 9, 7, and 1. Amundsen on top. Has a little bit of positional early speed. I think class-wise is going to be a solid fit in here. Tried this kind of company last time. Ran a decent 3rd. That was the second start off. A little bit of an early season layoff from February to April. You know, this day and age, that's not a huge layoff. But again, maybe just kind of rounding into form. There are numbers underneath. You go down the page, there are clearly some numbers that put this horse right in the thick of things with this bunch. I'll hope we rebound to those with the last 2 kind of moving in the right direction. Second slot, Big Engine, goes out for Rudy Rodriguez off a good second place finish against Similar last time. Again, ran 2nd. Bronx Bomber ran 3rd. Bronx Bomber is also in here. I didn't use Bronx Bomber, but Bronx Bomber in Amundsen's last race finished in front of that one. So this is the kind of crew where they meet up and who's feeling good on a certain day. As I said, I think it's competitive. But for me, Amundsen over Big Engine, and then Big Bobby in the 3rd spot for Bill Mott. Took a layoff from January until June. The comebacker was not good, was well behind both Bronx Bomber and Amundsen. I just think this horse is better than we saw last time. Now, the last may just indicate that off the layoff, this horse has gone in the wrong direction. We'll see, but I'm going to hope that we get a little bit of a rebound for Big Bobby. Dreammaker Racing, locally based connections, have this one. So for me, in the 5th, 4, 9, 7, and 1.
And I'm starting to get a little nervous because we still are not in sync, my stats and Naira's stats for trainers. It's a couple days.
Oh, I meant to look up. Like I say, I'm wondering if
Towhead was
no contest was a Mike Maker. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, we agree on top at 4, 5, 3 for me, and Horatio DePaz, obviously a sharp outfit, makes the 3rd start since the dead of February, hit the board most recently downstate going 6. I have Bronx Bomber for 2nd. Linda Rice's runner, I think, will run much better than odds with Irad Ortiz in the saddle, who did ride this horse last summer at Saratoga. And for 3rd, Hot Rod Rumble, going out for Steve Asmussen, 4, 5, 3.
And in fact, I just looked it up. It was a Mike Maker, so I would assume that is why the discrepancy.
But the thing is, like, that doesn't count.
Exactly.
That's a non-event.
I'm just wondering if there's maybe some auto
thing. Yeah, but that's a non-event. So
before we get to the 6, I wanted to mention at the top of the show, once again yesterday, just walking around the facility, I always appreciate it. Got a lot of good feedback from folks, and continue to, as every year really, but this year seems to be even more. People enjoy the programming, and maybe because We're available on more outlets now with the Roku, and catch us on the YouTube, and we stream the programs on our Twitter and Facebook pages as well. But appreciate the comments. And last night I went over and was watching a couple harness races. A couple guys walked up to me in town from Louisiana, and they immediately walked up, "Hey, love the programs." You came in. I said, "Guys, I got to the hotel. First thing I did was fire up the OTB channel, and your name gets mentioned a lot as well. They enjoy the handicapping show and whatnot." So just, again, appreciate the comments, because normally we're down in the studio in Albany, and you hear nothing
Isolated.
there, in that little studio, so it's fun to get the feedback, and really appreciate it. 6th race at Saratoga today. Allowance non-winners are one other than a mile and a 16th on the grass.
159, ladies and gentlemen, highly contentious race. Will start at the top of the stretch when they run on the inner and Marvelous Mart with Irad Ortiz. We talked about Fingal's Cave yesterday, skipped the condition, it has high hopes. This horse ran through the 2X race, got the W in the last, which is a more traditional path. In all 7 starts, has hit the board, has the 3 victories in the New York bred, and now because of the conditions, gets to run in an entry-level allowance with Irad from the hedge. Comes off a June 23rd impressive victory. This horse is the favorite in nearly more than half of the career starts. Will probably be the chalk today. Number 2, Blissful Boy. I'll tell you, Cherie DeVoe sends out this runner, and this is the horse that, to me, is the main danger. Makes the 3rd career start, but only the 2nd one of the year. Won on debut at Saratoga. Was laid off until June. Came back in a stakes race out at Canterbury. Was the favorite and just lost by a length of 3/4 for all the money. And for 3rd, number 9, Ensemble. Makes the 2nd start in the United States. 2nd start in 2022. 159.
I looked at Blissful. I may regret leaving that one.
Yeah,
out
I mean,
it's because the maiden breaker, they get ambitious and try to come from out of the clouds in that stakes race. I would assume that's not the game plan they were necessarily looking at. Just got off to a bad start. This one may wind up being the one to beat in here. But I also went with Marvelous Maud off the last start. Chad Brown runner for Michael Dubb and company. Just seems in good form. Couple of starts so far. A couple of nice improving efforts. Again, one of these I think is primed for a good start again today. Wicked Groove in the 2nd spot for me. Coming up from Parks most recently. We can look down at the PPs, and there's some nice races here, and some races that are going to fit nicely in with this bunch this afternoon. Win 2 back at Tampa, and then in a stakes race at Parks last time, a good 3rd. Comes in, moves into the Rob Atras barn, and I think will be very playable in here. And then finest work for George Weaver. Again, 3rd start of the year after having won the first 2 and done it in improving number fashion. Could again have that one primed for a good try today. 6th at Saratoga. I have it 1, 6, 3, and 9.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, the late pick 5. So here's an example, right? So this is how.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Varley, and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s, and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, up to race number 7, kicking off the late pick 5. State breds, 3-year-olds and up, maiden special weights, dashing 5.5 on the turf.
I have a 5, 2, 1, and 4. I thought the 9 and the 8 were also interesting, and I had to mention that they're both sitting at 12 to 1, so I wouldn't argue you off either the 9 or the 8. But I put Mr. Chairman on top, Christophe Clement runner that ran well in debut. Beaten is the favorite, beaten by 3/4 of a length. Again, you have to think this horse got some education from that. Into Mischief, very good sire, first-time starters. Again, to give numbers, 69 first-time starters this year. That's just incredible numbers. 12 wins, 9 seconds, 12 thirds. So they run very, very well. The dam's first foal was in 2009, so she may be getting a little long in the tooth. Excuse me, but there was a sibling called Disco Partner that folks might remember. Yeah. Disco Partner won the career debut in 2014, so it was a while ago, but overall was 11 for 33. Another sibling called Fly Fly Away. This is a little more recent, 2019, 5th in debut, but won the second start. So win early numbers from the breeding, and second-time starter now with some experience under the belt. Mr. Chairman on top for me. Second spot, Hey Mac, it's Jack. Good try last time, although do note that on the line, the horse ran second onto the wire, was disqualified and placed 4th. But again, I just thought it was a pretty good effort to maybe build on and build from. And looking at the rest of the field, fits nicely with this group, perhaps. And then in the third spot, Built to Last for Tom Morley. Won the finale yesterday with that horse squeaky in off the AE. And this one looked pretty good last time, taking the lead and just getting run down late. Looked pretty good before getting run down. But I thought, a little bit interesting in here, perhaps off of that race. Maybe a little tighter today, and also gets a half furlong less to have to worry about getting caught. So in the 7th, 5, 2, 1, and 4.
I have the 5 on top, Mr. Chairman. I'm thinking that Numerous, who is the broodmare sire, I think Charlie Whittingham had him. Boy, aren't too many horses that show up in the thing that the old Bald Eagle had makes a second career start. I think even though the 4 to 1, I think the race goes through, Mr. Chairman. And people that are trip handicappers, we always love the Generazos who have silks that are very easy to find. And for whatever it is, they have a disproportionate number of grays that they run. So the pink and green sticks out beautifully. For second, you mentioned it earlier, Ripe for Mischief, I do have in this spot for Jimmy Bond, who won 2 yesterday. Nice effort going 7 in the second start of the year, shortens up today, and Built to Last for third, Tom Morley and Javier Castellano, 5, 9, 1 in the 7th.
We kick off the very nice, the high-quality stakes action on this Saturday afternoon with the A.G. Vanderbilt Grade 1 event. It's also the A.G. Vanderbilt Handicap, and if you look at Jackie's Warrior, maybe that's going to play into this a little bit. Nobody pays attention to weight anymore, but if you perhaps do, you don't see 127 very often. Grade 1 event, $350,000 up for grabs, 6 furlongs the trip. And as the aforementioned Jackie's Warrior being in here, that means we bring in last year's Eclipse champion. Fun edition of the Vanderbilt.
People have been discounted handicap racing for probably 30 years now. And I'm like, what do you think the field size would be here at level weights? But Jackie's Warrior to me, 1 to 5 on the morning line. I couldn't think of the last horse who was 1 to 5 on the morning line in New York. I was trying to think, what was Sewell Gold in his Jockey Club Gold Cup. I mean, that's how far back I'm going, nearly 38 years ago. But Jackie's Warrior deserves to be that price. Really, one race in the career, the Breeders' Cup Sprint, when I was against him. But it's Jackie's Warrior down the road. Then the shot I took, as with last week, trying to make the one-punch exacta, splitting the top horses, was the Deuce, and then I call it NY Traffic, Saffy Joseph, but New York Traffic with IRAD. But this is another chance for Jackie's Warrior to win a Grade 1 at Saratoga. And I think I heard Greg Wolf on Fox saying yesterday that I guess no horse has won Grade 1s in 3 separate seasons at Saratoga, and that's the position.
Ever?
I think that's what he was saying. Wow. Just a thought.
I was
moving and grooving, and I thought I heard it.
They have a very competent research team. I have known people who are not able to get out at night because they are doing the research for the next day. So
we're going to go with that then.
Sounds it's interesting, but
that's all I'll say.
4, 3, 2, and 1.
Well, you have to figure the starting point is easy. It's either the spin away or the hopeful. So you be a winner of the spin away or hopeful going forward. Well, I guess that's not necessarily true. That would be of your 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old season. But you can win 3 grade ones without that. But that's not even a good starting point.
Yeah,
but.
it's I'm gonna have to research that a little bit. I mean, I believe him, but
So do I.
But 4, 3, 2.
If I didn't have my date, I'd have been one of those researchers.
4, 3, 2, and 1 for me. I put Jackie's Warrior on top. The 127 is kind of interesting, makes the race a little bit interesting, but man, this horse is just so good. But even better,
132 might have made it interesting.
Yeah. Up here, 4 for 4, including that phenomenal race last year in the Allen Jerkins against Life is Good. I couldn't get past that one. New York Traffic in the second spot. Now you take exception to people calling it New York, but you're saying NY. I mean, by your theory, it should be 9.
9.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm closer. I'm not making stuff up as I go along.
Well, that's a good question, I suppose. But regardless of how it's pronounced, I have the 3 in the second spot. On numbers, this horse fits, but do note the race 2 back was against State Breds. Last time, a Penn National stake. So, but won both of them, so comes in with confidence and good form. If I was doing a one-punch exacta, though, and looking for some value, I would either go Knee Deep in Snow or Willie Boy, because I think they're both playable in here, and I think you're going to get a little better value. So, and this is
that's
the
the
kind
only
of
way I
race
see to play the race.
exactly. This is the kind of race where I think that's where, if you're just looking to get something out of this particular race as opposed to the horizontals, that's probably what you're doing.
I would love to know tomorrow the percentage on the pick 5 of Jackie's Warrior. Would it be like north of 95%?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
I mean, but I have it 4, 3, 2, and 1.
The co-feature on the day, 3-year-olds in the local prep for the Travers, a Jim Dandy, a grade 2, 9 furlongs, and it's a doozy.
Really interesting. And again, we've been talking about the 3-year-olds I have for a while now. The first half of the year, they didn't kind of separate themselves necessarily. The second half of the year may play out differently, and I think this race has the potential to help that. I went 4, 2, 5, and 3. I could have, to me, they're razor thin. Early voting or Epicenter. I just thought being a little more lately raced, they skipped the Derby to go to the Preakness, and that paid off for them. I think early voting, to me, I just gave the slightest of edges, but I really like Epicenter. And again, I debated. I went back and forth. So to me, these two are pretty close, but having to come up with a selection, I put the 4 over the 2. All of that said, go back to the Bluegrass, and I think Zandon may get a little overlooked in here, and I think has absolutely potential to upset the apple cart. But for me, 4, 2, 5, and 3.
I see it the same way. I mean, earlier I did think I had early voting clear, but Epicenter has moved closer to early voting. The other thought is, who's absolutely at 100% with the Travers on the horizon? I don't know. But I think it's going to be a darn good renewal of the Jim Dandy. It's early voting for me by a nostril over Epicenter, and then Zandon to me, who, if I had to say any one of the 3 would be working to going forward, it would be him. The other 2 I think would be cranked up, and this is the spot. But just a guess, 4, 2, 5. Surprised we agree, because I think it's between the big 3.
All right, one more break, then we'll come back and wrap it up. We'll have Racing Across America top of the hour. My first guest, Marshall Graham, already here, so stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player? To have a better knowledge of the game? To be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Saturday morning. Let's dive back in. Late double, race number 10 on Saturday afternoon. Allowance non-winners are one other than a mile and a 16th on the turf.
9-12-3 for me, and Irwin is one of my reaches for the day, but the offspring of Australia, you talked about Kingman earlier, Australia, son of Galileo, making the third start in the States, third start of 2022. For second, number 12 on the outside for Todd Pletcher. Brilliant on debut. For third, number 3, Orchestration, Chad Brown's runner, makes the first start of the year, fourth career start, 9-12-3.
12-8, 1 and 3 for me. Capensis on top. I could go either way with this one, but I thought, you know what? Off the debut, lived up to the $2 million price. But at $2 million, he debuted at 5-1. Now, lived up to the price. Made the bettors look a little foolish with a big win and a solid number, but has to validate himself in here. The 12 post position is going to be no bonus. If you want to take a shot against, I'm not necessarily arguing. I just think he's probably best if he can repeat. That's going to be the question mark. Ricochet in the second spot off a good try last time, and that 12-1 looks awfully generous. We'll see. Bay Street money at 8-1. I think is also an interesting player off a couple of good efforts recently. In the 10th, 12-8, 1 and 3.
And in the finale, a mile on the inner turf, open claimer is in for $25,000.
3, 7, 5, and 9. I thought the 11 was also a little bit playable. That was the first on the AE list. If that one squeaks in, take an extra look. The last sip, the 1 is intriguing, but I want big agenda on top. Off the claim for Jeremiah Engelhardt. Seems in good form and good enough form to match up with these. Jack the Cat, good second last time, also off the claim, who's in for Rob Falcone. Barley 1 has that angle I like quite a bit. State bred allowance into an open claimer. It's a potent angle. I would have probably put this horse on top if there were more state bred allowance races. That's when I really like it. They're kind of, that's their class, and then they make the move. This horse has only been in there the last couple of starts, but again, interesting to me. In the 11th, 3, 7, 5, and 9.
4, 5, 3 for me. Number 4 is Mo Reddy adding blinkers today. Irad Ortiz with Rudy, 8-1 on the morning line. For second, Barley 1 in the new barn. Fits in this way. Once again, it's kind of surprising. They're leaving a 2X on the table, which, putting in claimers, it's, usually you like to expire all those, and big agenda for third for Jeremiah Engelhardt. Leaving that condition, I think, makes your horse more attractive to get claimed. Getting through that condition allows you to run for 25 and be less attractive from an owner's standpoint. But 4, 5, 3 in the finale. It's Jim Danny Day, Alfred Vanderbilt Day. It is gorgeous out here, ladies and gentlemen. If you are even sitting on the fence to come up here, boy, I'm telling you, it feels like very little humidity, some sunshine, a light breeze. That wraps up the Handicappers Report. He stays, I go. Up next, Racing Across America.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.
Good afternoon, everyone.